How's it going, everyone? Andy here, right back at you with another 4K video. Today we're going to talk about Nintendo's third-party support video, and the company we're going to focus on today is Activision. Now, when it comes to Activision, there's really not much to talk about because in actuality, similar to Konami, they haven't really done much with the system at all. Like at launch, they supported this console with Skylanders, and that's it. Like literally nothing came out of it afterwards. It has just been recently they talked about there's going to be the Insane Trilogy, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which I am looking forward to it myself because I've been thinking about getting it on the PS4, but then there were starting rumors coming out and saying that it was actually going to be going on to other systems as well. And then at that point I was thinking to myself that, alright, okay, cool, if it is coming to other system, including the Switch as well, I will most likely just wait for it. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of glad I waited, so I am looking forward to getting it because I have heard it was actually a pretty good remake and everything like that. The reviews were pretty high, it sold really well, so yeah, I look forward to picking that up myself. But as of but as far as actual supports goes, yeah, like prior to this announcement, Activision has been relatively quiet regarding the Switch. They haven't really talked much about it, or as aside from the new games coming, they haven't really spoke about it at all. As far as support for Switch goes. But now that they're obviously bringing Crash to actually a Nintendo platform, it makes us obviously wonder what kind of supports they've got. So right off the bat, it's like, yeah, sure, we got Crash, but what else could we look forward from Activision? Like, what could they potentially bring to the Switch? And as far as bringing in games wise, I mean, of course, they're most well known for Call of Duty games. And as far as Call of Duty games go, with this year, no words of whether or not Black Ops 4 is going to come onto the system, because I know a lot of people tend to say that, well, these games that they're quite graphically demanding, because despite what you want to say about COD, yeah, it's one thing I do have to give COD credit is their games has always looked pretty damn good, and they run at a very smooth 60 FPS as well. So in terms of just performance and the way how looks goes, it has always been a pretty good looking game. So in that kind of case, yeah, obviously the Switch probably will not be able to pull off the same graphical fidelity as the same other two platforms, considering that those are the base consoles that they're making the game for. So in that sense, I was kind of thinking, you know what, if the thing with Activision is the way how I look at them is they go where the money is. If there are potential money to be made on this platform, no matter what they're gonna have to do, yeah, they will find some way to get it work on your system. Just look at back then when the DS was a huge success. They put games on the freaking DS. They didn't even care how much they have to downgrade it. If we know it could potentially make money, hey, we'll put it on there. So I kind of felt with in my eyes, I really do not want them to approach the Switch like this, because I don't want you to just feel oh, you know what, we're just going to throw any sort of random crap on there, and if it sells, then it sells. Because that, I just don't like it when third party does things like this. This is one of the main reasons why I thought the WWE 2K18 for last year by 2K was an absolutely embarrassment. You clearly put no thought process into porting it whatsoever, and you gave us an incredibly crappy port. It ran horrible whatsoever. And what's so shockingly is well, LA Noire and NBA ran fine, so what the hell happened there there? So I just don't want Activision to be on that mindset, just looking the Switch as it's some sort of dumping ground just for them to put whatever crap they can on there. It doesn't seem like they're going for that, because from what I could see from Crash Bandicoot, it does look like a pretty competent port, but that's only purely because that game in itself doesn't really require a lot to make it look identical as the other versions, because for COD they will have to obviously rework a lot of the things. They might even have to create an entirely different engine just so they could get it to run on the Switch. So, I mean, for me, I kind of just felt if they were to put COD games on the Switch, the easiest way is just maybe to make one that it's I guess you could say an exclusive version, like, you know, to just the Switch. Like, maybe it could be the same kind of game, but made by a different team that just basically from the ground up has been making it primarily for just the Switch. Like, basically it's kind of like its own version. If they were to kind of like do that, I just don't want them to do like, you know, a really half-assed port job and then just like throw it out there just for the sake of saying that, oh, we've got something on there. But as far as like, you know, aside from COD, they've of course got Destiny 2. I mean, at this point, I don't really even think, because the way the Destiny player base has been dropping more and more over like, you know, the last couple of months really, ever since its launch. Even if it was to come onto the Switch right now, no matter what they had to do to get it on there, I just don't even think the audience are there anymore. And even if they did announce it, I don't know, I just don't really think the general public is going to respond pretty positive about it, just purely based on the fact that, like, you know, its player base has been dropping. So Destiny 2, I don't see it really happening. As far as what else Activision could do, if they make another new Skylander, that's pretty much a guarantee. It's definitely going to be on the Switch. But as far as their other IPs goes, again, it just depends on what they really are. Because right now their support is fairly, like, you know, subpar at the moment. Again, similar to Konami. But the only difference about Konami is that Konami still has a lot of old ports because they didn't release it on a Nintendo platform before. So like Konami at least have that to fall back on. But I'm not too sure what Activision could actually bring to the table. And even going into the last part about what I personally really want from them, there really isn't that much from Activision that they have made in the last couple of years that I really do care for. Like Crash Bandicoot is probably one of the only ones I could really think of that because they have been dropping down hints that they probably will want to release another game that is actually a brand new game. Like, instead of being a remaster, they want to make it a brand new game. If anything, if the Crash games does sell well on the Switch once it comes out in July, and if it ends up selling well, there's no doubt in the back of my head that I'm pretty sure Activision will put it on the Switch as well. So maybe that's my only hope for it, is like if there is another brand new Crash game come in, get it onto the Switch. And because I felt like the Nintendo audience will speak pretty positive, will probably buy it, like, you know, just speak pretty highly of it, because it's a platformer. Most Nintendo Switch owners love platformers. I love platformers, so hopefully they will make one for the Switch. But aside from that, don't really have much to say. Again, it's just purely because Activision really hasn't impressed me that much over the last couple of years, so there's really not much I really want from them. But anyway, I would like to know what you guys think, like what titles from Activision that is coming out soon that you personally would really like to see them bringing it over to the Switch. Comment below and let me know. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. We very much appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and give it a like. If not, you can hit a dislike. This is Andy from 4K Downtime signing off. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.